Welcome to tonight's training call. We're going to be getting started in a few minutes. So if you guys are on here, make sure you get out a pen and paper so you guys can take some notes down in case something interesting kind of sticks out so you can write it down and jot it down. But we're going to be getting started about 5 after. So hang tight for a few more minutes and we'll be getting started soon.
There we go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me, Steve?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, great to have you on the call. Making sure the invite link is correct. People getting on the call, you getting positive feedback?
Pretty sure. It says you got some viewers. Two viewers. A couple more popping on here.
Cool, cool. I'm going to make sure we got the right link. Screen share.
This is what I did for all my other calls, so I mean it should be.
Okay, then we should be good. All right. Yeah, my call, I don't know what's going on. Something with Verizon. I was calling on this phone, tried to call on this phone, and even you, towards the end there, my call just dropped. Just lost
Yeah,
service.
no bueno.
I don't know what's going on.
All right, well, we have people on here, so we're going to be getting started in about a minute or two, guys. Just hang on tight. We have a lot of good stuff to go over with you guys, so make sure you guys have a pen and paper out. We're going to be getting started in about a minute or two, so hang tight, and we're going to begin rocking and rolling here shortly. Brand, do you want to go first and open it up, or do you want me to go first?
You could take the lead.
Uno momento, people. We just had two more people hop on, so we're going to be getting started in about a minute or two, guys. Got a lot of people piling on here. I want to give everyone the favor and the benefit of the doubt to get the right information. All right, cool. All right, guys, well, we're going to go ahead and get this call started. It is now 7:05 p.m. Monday night. Glad that all you guys are taking the time to get on here. Shows me and Brandon that you guys are serious about building this business. And we want to make sure that we use the next 30 minutes while we're on here, 30 to 40 minutes, to really deliver and give you guys some valuable content that we truly do believe can help you take your business to the next level, or more importantly, where you want it to be. We have a lot of stuff we're going to be going over with you guys, so make sure that you guys have a pen and paper out ready to take notes. So I've always learned that you learn better by writing things down. Something that happens with psychology, that when you're writing something down, you obtain the information better. So get out a pen and paper. The purpose of this call is to help you, like I said, help you get to where you want to be. I'm going to be going over a few things. I'm going to be going over one, culture and how to build culture in your business. One of the most important things in this industry and in this company, and what's going to help you, is establishing a culture within your organization. I'm also going to be going over mindset and giving you a few key fundamentals and principles to help you develop a winning mindset to really succeed in this industry. And I'm going to start off by going over culture first. And really kind of culture starts off with you guys as a team just hanging out with each other. Okay, people will quit on a business that they don't make money in, but people will never quit on their family. And that's really important. As a team, you guys need to focus on becoming closer and begin to surround yourself with each other. Don't surround yourself with your average people, your average friends, doing average things, making average income. Don't surround yourself with losers. Surround yourself with people in your business. Surround yourself with people who are like-minded. That's one of the most important things in establishing a culture is that family atmosphere. And that's only going to start by you making it a priority to meet up with your team as much as possible. Ask yourself this question: how many times a day or a week are you meeting up with your organization? Are you meeting up with your upline? It all starts with you. So ask yourself this question. Begin now to plan things in your weekly schedule, in your calendar. Begin to plan things now that are going to help build stronger relationships within your organization. I can't stress enough how important it is to build strong, trustworthy relationships within your organization. Again, remember, people will quit on a business, but they won't quit on family. Make sure that when you are spending time with your people, that you're using that time that you spend together wisely. Make it a proactive community. Make it an environment where people grow and become better. I've learned as being an entrepreneur that time is the most valuable asset that you have, and you do not want to waste it. So therefore, when you are together as a team, as a group, use all that time wisely and strategically. Invest that time into your future. A couple things you guys can do as a team to help develop culture within your organization. One, team workouts. This is a health and wellness company. This is a business built on helping people get better. Start doing team workouts together. Out here in San Jose, we have 2 boot camps a week where we are using those as funnels to help attract people who are people that we desire in our business. You know, we are using these types of environments to build stronger relationships with each other. So team workouts is definitely a good way to start developing culture and strong relationships. Also, team training nights. Once a week, twice a week, whatever you guys want to do, where you guys meet up as a group, as a team, and go over stuff, over content that's going to help you guys become better. Little things like this, you know, little things like meeting up together and just training on simple things like the approach. Those are going to help you build a strong culture within your organization. Also, home events during the week. Make sure you're filling your schedule within the week with at least 1 to 2 to 3 home events a week. Don't do too many home events. You don't want to saturate the market, but 1 to 2 to 3 home events a week is always good. Where you're, and the home events are used to where you're telling the story, where you're breaking down the opportunity. These are simple, quick, easy things that you can do to help develop a culture and strong relationships within your organization. Now, what I'm about to go over as far as culture is one of the most key elements in terms of your success. And this is making sure that everyone in your group, everyone that's coming into your group, that's already in your group, make sure everyone is on the same page. Everyone needs to know what it takes and what is going to be required in order for them to get to where their goals are. People need to know these things, which is basically going to be a few things. People need to understand in your business that showing up to events is important. I was told by my first mentor, he said, Steven, you need to understand that 95% of success is just showing up. Don't be mad at the results you don't get from the trainings you don't go to. He said, don't get mad at if you're not making money, if you're not showing up. He said, don't get mad if your bank account's going like this when your attendance is poor. He said, you got to understand, you have to make it a priority to show up to every single meeting, no matter how far away it is. Don't make excuses. Because I was always told, Steven, you can either make excuses or make money, but you can't do both. So which one are you going to buy into? Don't make excuses. Because here's what's going to happen. Here's what I've learned, that if you start showing up, you make it a priority to show up, your people are going to show up. They're going to make it a priority to show up. You got to lead by example. And that's one of the most key things when building culture is by stepping up yourself leading by example, and as an effect of you doing that, you're going to have people showing up. There's nothing better than when everyone has bought into the same goal and the same dream, because everyone is working together. When everyone's working together, nothing is impossible. Get all your people buying into a common goal, a common vision, and that is how you will establish culture, strong relationships, trustworthy relationships within your organization, and that is when your business is really going to start to take off. Moving on from culture over to mindset. I got a lot of cool things I want to go over with mindset, but before I do that, I want to open up. Brandon, do you have anything that you want to add to culture before I move on into mindset?
Yeah, real quick. I'm not going to go on for too long, Steve. I think what you said was right on the you hit it right on the nose. But number one thing about culture is you can think of culture as the glue to your organization. There's been people that have remained in network marketing, have not made a dime, right? They're paying for their product, paying for their auto ship, but they are so in love with the culture, they never want to leave. Creating a culture that people want to be a part of, with or without an opportunity attached, is it's what's gonna separate your business, right, from the average person's business. And like they say in network marketing, only 3% of people in network marketing make 6 figures, right? What do? They do each of these skills just a little better than everyone else. Their culture is just a little more tight than everyone else. They attend the trainings just a little more than everyone else. They're taking notes just a little more than everyone else. But culture could be the strongest part, not only to your business, but to your retention rate, right? When people have struggles, they go to you instead of going away, right? And you keep this hot, white hot fire within your group at all time when everyone is focused on the same goal, like Steven said. So that's all I got, Steve.
Perfect. Moving on from culture, guys. Hope you guys got a lot of great stuff down. Moving on to the next topic out of the 4, which is mindset. Okay, so you have to understand in this business, you are going to deal with rejection. It has to already be expected by you. On your end, you have to know already, be prepared for the no's, because they're going to come. I have seen so many people miss out on an opportunity of a lifetime. I have seen so many people give up on their dreams and goals because someone else told them that they couldn't do it, or someone else talked them out of it. You have to understand that you're gonna get the naysayers, you're gonna get people who hate on you, but you have to already expect that it is coming, because I learned that when you expect something, it's easier to deal with it. Fall in love with the no's is what my mentor told me. He said, Steven, every no means you are one step closer to a yes. When I understood that, I started to get excited whenever I heard the word no. I got very, very excited, and I started to play a game with myself. And I used to tell myself all the time, I know there's a yes out here somewhere. I'm not going to stop until I find one. You have to understand in this business, it's a numbers game. And when it comes to that, Brandon's going to touch on this in the approach. It's a numbers game, you guys. And so you're going to deal with the no's. It's already expected. And play this game with yourself. That way you don't beat yourself up over it, but just know that there is a yes out there. You just have to get closer to it by going through the no's first. You have to develop what we call rhino skin, which, if you don't know what that means, rhino skin is tough, it's thick, nothing can really pierce it. And think about your mindset, like it has to have rhino skin around it. Don't let little people's sharp things that they say pierce your mindset. Don't let them get inside there. I was always told, and I've learned this through personal development, that you have to work harder on yourself than anything else. Work on yourself more than you spend more time on anything else. I've learned that your mind is like a muscle, and in order for it to get strong and stay strong, you must work it out every single day. Okay? Society will try and tell you all the reasons on why you can't do something, on why you can't make your goals and dreams happen. But don't let that affect your beliefs and your thoughts. Don't let those pollute your mind. Keep your mind as positive as possible. Think of your mind like a clear glass of water, and society and negative people are going to pollute it and make it dirty. So already know that it's coming. Fall in love with the no's. Every no means you're closer to a yes. Just know that if you can dream it, you can achieve it. But that's all I have for culture and mindset. Before we move on to the next topics, I'm going to hand it back over to Brandon real quick in case he wants to add 1 or 2 more things to that. If not, the stage is set. Brandon, and the rest of the call on the floor is yours. Thank you, guys.
Awesome, cool. Well, just to finish up on the mindset, I had a few thoughts come to mind that I think are valuable for you guys. Number one, when Stephen referred to going through the process, fall in love with the nose, right? The message that he's trying to get across is it's the process you should be focused on and not the result, right? Have a picture in mind, have the end in mind, but you should know with such certainty that it's going to happen that you're not worried about thinking about it and worrying if it's going to happen. You're so caught up in that day-by-day routine that creates that result, right? I remember when I got involved in Veo, the first thing I said to Burke was, look, I will be top 3 in the company and I will remain there for the entire duration that I build with the company, right? And I found out today that I'm number 2 in the company, you know? But it was not a surprise because for me from the start, it was, sorry, getting a call. For me from the start, it was, I already knew it was going to happen. Now let's get involved in the process with no type of expectation, but just executing the process to the best of your ability every single day, right, will produce the result at the end of the road, right? A lot of people can't wrap their mind around making $1 million, $100,000 a year, and they think about all these steps in between when in reality they just need to worry about performing the next step at the best of their ability, right? So I'm going to move on. My topics today, 2 very valuable topics. One of them I think is 90% of the business. This is the approach, right? And it's why I think it's 90% of the business is because if you can learn how to approach and expose people properly, give someone a proper presentation, depending on the skill set of that person, there will always be a ratio of enrollment going on in your business, right? So if you have a group of 10 people and everyone knows how to approach somebody correctly, then exposing and getting people on calls out to home events to one-on-ones, that sort of thing won't be a problem in your group. And if it's not a problem in your group, then you will have enrollments going through your group no matter what goes on by just teaching a simple approach. All right, now before we go into how the approach works, you need to understand the most important part about the approach isn't the how, right? It's the state of mind that you're in when you're approaching people and the intentions behind your words. Those 2 things alone account for 80% of your approach when talking to someone. You could say all the right things. You can have the best scripts in the world memorized. But if you're not excited, if you're not confident, right, and if you're not coming from a place where you want to try and help somebody better their lifestyle or help them achieve whatever it is that they want to achieve, then they're not going to be responsive. Because they're going to look at you and they're going to say, well, he's just trying to make money off me, right? What you want them to do is look at you and say, wow, this guy can help me get what I want, for 1, and for 2, he knows where he's going, right? So step 1 is you need to be in a state. The best state to be in is what I call ECU, right? Excited, right? Just talking to your friends in an excited tone will pique interest in itself, right? 90% of the battle right there. Excited. Number 2, certain, being confident. Right? The only way you're going to be confident and certain in the business is kind of like Stephen was talking about earlier. You're being plugged in. You're around the fire. You're around the culture. You're plugging into the books, the audios, and you're completely immersing yourself in the culture, in the training, and in the content. That right there and your daily schedule and routine will produce confidence, right? It will produce potential confidence. And then the action you take when it's correct action will produce your confidence, right? So you get on board, you're excited. You're immersing yourself in the business. You're learning. You're talking to your uplines. You're talking to people. You're getting some results. You're confident. And number 3, you're urgent, right? We're not calling people on the phone to present the business to them. We're calling them on the phone for 30 seconds to 90 seconds of piquing their interest enough to get them to want to hear about what we got going on by somebody or some resource besides yourself, some third-party tool besides yourself. That is the number 1 skill in network marketing. Not being able to perform it, but being able to teach other people how to perform it. And when everyone is doing the same thing, then there's momentum, right? When everyone is teaching the same thing and it's a very clear understanding of what to do and how to do it, we have momentum. When there's a different way to invite and then there's this system and there's that thing and this thing and my way and your way, then we have confusion. And when there's confusions, there's lack of action. And that's the only reason a organization would ever slow down, right? So ECU, state of mind you got to be in. Number 2, intentions, right? What are your intentions when speaking to someone, right? We teach something called FORM, family, occupation, recreation, motivation. Those 4 topics to talk about with your potential business partner, right? With the intention of figuring out how you can bring about VEO into the conversation that could potentially help or, be a conducive additive to one of these 4 topics. That just comes with practice. I could talk to Steven, and probably in 2 minutes I can form Steven and find some clever reason to just bring up VEO, right? And that's how you can get the strongest invite. When I started, I had a list on one side and I had my reasons on the other. Why am I contacting them? Do I have a genuine reason to bring it up? Maybe it's just a compliment. Maybe you know someone that's confident and they're looking for something, right, to put their potential in. Then you tell them that. Whatever it is, write down a solid, concrete reason that when you bring that up into your invite, they know, oh, wow, this is personal. Well, he thought of me for this reason. Wow, okay, well, since he thought of me, I want to check it out. So those 2 things right there, your intentions, the state of mind you're in, 80% of your invite. Right now, how the invite works, what to say, right? It's going to be different for everyone. There is no script on the invite. Your friends, you talk to your friends differently than I talk to my friends, right? So be yourself. Very, very big. Be yourself. But what we've been using and what we've been training a lot is this simple invite. I call up Steven. All right, let's say Steven just told me his job sucks and that he wants to get his dad a car. His dad just mentioned it, and it was a recent goal of his. So I'd call up Steven. Steven, you want to role play? So I'd call up Steven, or maybe I'd shoot him a text, right? Call him up. Hey, Steven, what are you doing right now?
Right now, I am just sitting down on the couch at home. What's going on?
All right, man. Well, were you serious when you told me that you didn't really like your job and you're thinking about how you always wanted to get your dad that Mustang?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, dude. Well, look, I just started this. I just teamed up with one of my buddies, right? His name's Bert Green, okay, and a startup company. The guy's worth about $50 million, and he said I'm allowed to bring in a few people. Dude, I've never seen something like this before, and I thought about you for those reasons. All right, so if I invited you to come and meet him or to meet up and talk about it, would you want to come?
Absolutely. I'm more than down. When do you want to meet up?
How about tomorrow? What's tomorrow? What's better tomorrow? I'm free around 3 or 6.
Let's do it. Whenever time you're free, I'm free.
All right, 3 it is. Now, the only objection you need to teach your newest person here, now it looks like I'm in a cave. The only objection you need to teach your newest person here is what to say when your person says, well, what is it? Because that's the most common mistake for the newest person is they get asked questions or they get asked, what is it? And then they end up vomiting all of this information, then getting asked questions, and then they completely lose their credibility altogether. I'm going to turn on a light so I don't look like Batman. All right, beautiful. So, Steven, let's go through that scenario. I'm going to make this quick, right? I invite Steven. Go ahead and ask me, Steven, what is it?
Well, Brandon, it sounds cool, but what is it, man? Tell me.
Well, Steven, look, if I explained it to you over the phone, you completely wouldn't understand it. And, dude, I already told Burke about you, and he actually wants to meet you and explain it to you the right way, but it's got to be in person or face-to-face because it's more of a visual thing.
All right, well, then we'll do it face-to-face.
Beautiful. Cool. Right? Simple way to overcome that objection. If you can teach the newest person how to approach properly, overcome a few objections, then you'll be in a constant state of momentum. Approach. Anything else you wanted to add to that, Steve, before I go on to closing?
I think you got it.
Awesome. Closing. Last subject for tonight. Closing. The most crucial part. Most people don't understand this. The average person takes 4 to 6 exposures to get involved. The average person. A lot of people think, if they say no the first time, they're not going to get involved. I think it was maybe Grant Cardone say it takes 4 no's and then the sale gets started, right? He goes, I need to get 4 no's before I get a yes from somebody, right? So don't give up after the first exposure, the second, third, or fourth. Sometimes it takes people 15 exposures to get involved, and what a professional will do is they'll condense the exposure process in as little time as possible, right? An amateur won't have urgency. They'll say something like, oh, well, whenever you can get back to me, just give me a call, and then they'll never get a call. Or they'll talk to them a week later. And now this is the one thing I want to get to all of you guys. This is called the law of diminishing intent. Okay, the law of diminishing intent states that the longer you wait to make a decision on anything, the longer that you wait, the less likely it is you are going to make the decision. This goes with any decision in life, right? So the law of diminishing returns says that if I expose Steven, he's most likely to enroll at his highest peak of excitement, which is probably immediately after that first exposure. And that's when you want to go for the sale. If he's not ready then, when should you probably plan the next exposure? In the next couple hours, or the next day, or the next week? If you plan it next week, you're fighting a universal law of decision making. And by that time, no matter what, his interest is going to be lower simply because of the time, right? So professionals will condense that exposure process in 24 to 48 hours. If you can't get your person to get their questions answered and meet people and check out the videos 48 hours from the day that you talk to them, then you need to be more urgent, right? What I like to tell my people is, you know, I'll explain the opportunity to them, very clear. They have a few questions, you know, I'll either answer the questions myself or use a third-party tool to answer it for me, which is usually a little more effective. And I'll tell them, look, let's help you make a decision whether or not this is for you in the next 24 to 48 hours. And I use my list. I say, look, I got a list of about 50 people here that I'm going to be talking to in the next week. It's going to be very hard for me to communicate with you and help you make a decision. So what can I do now and in the next 48 hours to help you make your decision on whether this is for you or not? And then I always take the pressure off. If it's not your thing, cool. You can tell me no. I don't mind. All I need to know is if this is for you, a definite yes or a no. So what can I do to help you figure that out? Right? And that's it. And you give them that 48-hour kind of deadline. And I promise you, they will make a decision. And when you leverage your list, you know, I got about 5 other people on this list I'm going to be working with and getting started. You know, I don't want to leave you behind. People don't want to be last in line. It will cause urgency, right? So one of the biggest things with closing is causing urgency. The second part to closing, and this is kind of a mindset you got to be in, is what is closing a sale? Closing a sale is figuring out how you can show this person that you're talking to that by joining, they can get what they want. And if they don't know what they want, it's you digging through asking questions, figuring out if they did get started, what they would want from the business. Most people that don't get started, they don't have a reason to get started. You're not giving them a reason to get started, right? Give them a reason to get started, usually through telling stories of what people have done and where people have taken it, right? Will inspire thoughts in that newest person. And if you know them, maybe when you form them, help paint the picture. Look, man, you know, I brought this to you because you said you wanted to start your own bakery. What was your first step? What's your plan on your first step in your bakery? Did you have a plan? No, I didn't have a plan. Well, great. Well, I think you're going to need capital and people, right? Let's get paid to build a network for your bakery. Why don't we get you started? How does that sound? Yes or yes? Right? Now, the key is going to be asking questions that they cannot help but say yes to. And when you're asking those questions and you get a yes and a yes and a yes, and then you ask them to get started, most of the time they start. And how I like to ask them to get started, actually I'm going to let Steven do it, is the number one way to get someone started is you need to have the confidence that they may lack. If I was going to get Steven started, I wouldn't say, okay, do you want to get started now? I would ask him, hey, Steve, do you have any more questions? No, I don't. Okay, great. And then from there, I would take charge and, you know, show him that I have a plan and that I know exactly what I'm doing, because the only way you're going to close someone is if they could say 2 things. 1, he can help me make money. 2, he knows where he's going and what he's doing. If you can answer those 2 things, they're going to get started. So, Steve, why don't you real quick take him through how you like to, when your prospect doesn't have any more questions, you
Perfect.
feel like 8 or 9 out of 10 and they're ready to go, that last push to get it started.
Perfect. Yeah, going right off of that, I always ask people when I ask them if they have any more questions and they say no, I say great, and this is where it starts the closing process. I say the next step from here is for you to take that first step, get your product ordered. We'll get your website, your back office up and running, and then me and you will go to work together to help you knock out those 4 people and become profitable in your first 24 to 48 hours. How's that sound? And then you're just quiet. You say, so the next step from here is let's get your product ordered, let's get your website, back office up and running, and me and you will go to work to help you get those 4 people and become profitable in your first 24 to 48 hours. How's that sound? And then they're going to be like, oh, sounds great. And like, great, well, let's get you going. And then you just pull out the computer, say, which product do you like, and you walk them through the enrolling process. After that, get them trained up, teach them the approach to help them make a list, walk them through the actual, the training program that we have for you guys, and then boom, you just duplicate that over and over again. Teach your people how to close. Most people are scared to ask for the close, but you just got to do it. It all starts with those couple words. The next step is, and you just go into it, and you close it with saying, how's that sound? And you just be quiet and let them answer for you.
Yep. Last thing I wanted to add on closing is the person, like Tony Robbins says, he has an audio called The Power of Influence. It's like a 12-hour audio, and at the last 30 minutes, he says, but, disregarding everything I just said, 90% of your closing is going to be who is more certain, right? Whoever is more certain will always win, right? So, first of all, you hear this a lot in the industry, but you have to close yourself. You cannot expect to close other people if you haven't been closed yet yourself. Close yourself on the idea that your goals in VEO are possible for you. And in doing that, you have to believe that other people's goals are possible for them, because it's the only way we move the business forward. People tell me they believe in themselves and where they're going, but they don't believe in other people. It doesn't make any. You have to believe in people to get somewhere in this industry, right? So sell yourself. The most certain person wins, right? And understand where you're coming from with closing. Be urgent. Condense the exposure process. Go through the numbers, and I promise you, the faster you fail, the faster you go, the better you will get. The skill set runs parallel in anything. There's 7 skills that if you master, you can make millions of dollars in this industry. In basketball, there's like 5 or 6 skills that if you master, you can make millions of dollars in that industry. There's no difference. The only difference is you. Systems in both. Training regimens in both. The difference is you, your work ethic, and just putting in the work to make it happen, right? The 10x rule, times by 10, what you think you have to do to get where you need to go, and you'll get there every time. So that's it for me. Steven, if you have any last-minute thoughts, feel free to throw them in. This call is recorded, so whoever missed it on your team, if someone wasn't able to make them the call, shoot them this link. Shoot them this link and tell them that this is a call that they cannot miss, right? And then ask them what they liked about it. Talk about it. Right, these calls are going to be happening once to probably twice a week now with different guests, and we're really going to start, making this a big part of the system. So thanks for hopping on, Steven. Thanks for hosting the call, getting everything set up. And if that's it, I'll turn it back over to you to kind of close it out.
All right, perfect, Brandon. Thanks for hopping on here, and me and you putting this thing together, and hope you guys got a lot of great content. These things are designed to help you guys become more valuable to the marketplace and help you get to where you want to be. Plug into all these. I've learned that my mentor says, Steven, if you can get good at this one skill, you're going to make a lot of money in this industry, and that skill is promoting. Learn to promote the calls. Learn to get people on the calls. Understand that this business is market sharing. How much of it do you want to have? The company offers all this money, but there's nothing stopping you from getting it except you. So how much of it do you want? The spots are available. How many people do you want to get on the calls? Fill the spots. Send out the links. Promote the calls. These are only going to help you and your people. But thanks for coming on, Brandon. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys on the next calls, and you guys have a great Monday night. Talk to you guys soon.